Alright, we're going to go ahead and do another strategy run. Going to go ahead and get started here, and I'm going to good luck. I do actually have some little bits of cat management that I need to do. As we can see, I'm kind of overrun with previous run cats right now. So let me just spend the day and get some more kittens, clean up some poop. Sometimes going into this mode makes it a little bit easier to see where the poop is, although the tooltips kind of hide some of it. Alright, so let's go ahead, check if there's any items we want. I don't think so. We're pretty flush with items right now. So we're going to go ahead and snag a couple of cats. Let's find some that haven't been on adventures. Charizard. Yeah, there's one somewhere. Maybe I know. Oliver's kitten. I can take this random stray, I suppose. Not too worried about it. Generally speaking, the management part of this game is interesting. I am doing some amounts of trying to, breed for stats and whatever, and for abilities. You can probably see on some of these cats that I'm bringing that there are some mutations that they're picking up, some base stats that are above the 7. That's the sort of like highest that their base is going to get. Some abilities that are outside of their normal abilities, but generally speaking, the part of the fun of these strategy runs for me is figuring out sort of what builds I can do with the runs with the cats that I have, and having imperfect cats sort of just it helps me to make some decisions on the party select screen. And it makes each run unique and different, and so I kind of enjoy that aspect of things. So we're going to take these 4 cats. I'm going to see what colors were offered, and we're going to go ahead and do a run. So we can inflict. We got a Bolito here that can inflict marked on a unit, which gives 100% crit chance. Lowest stat is speed by a lot, but good strength and great stats across the board. So this could easily be sort of like a caster build. Like a psychic is the first thing that comes to mind as having a base attack that's infinite range. It's a little bit of a waste of the strength and dexterity stats though. We could try something that we could do something like a thief to just buff that movement stat, and just thieves oftentimes will do both melee attacks and dex attacks, and doing more crits is something that plays into them. So I think Rogue seems like a pretty good choice here. Gives us good stats across the board. Makes it so that we can make use of this marked ability. Chino wants to be next to units to give them charge as a really high luck stat and low strength. So as far as being next to other units, I mean, this kind of is anybody can be next to other units, but druids have like the easiest time of they always almost at the beginning of each battle they at least have their bird that they're next to, and they're often summoning things that can then just like make use of this charge right away if they're summoning things that can use mana, and they sometimes have abilities that buff allies that are nearby in ranges. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. This charisma and intelligence split is pretty good. The strength stat matters a little bit for the attack power of the bird, so it's a little bit sad that it's so low. Like with these low stats being an attack, a kind of magic attacker is probably more what I want to be doing here. Something like a mage might be good. I mean, these are really good stats for that. Charisma is unfortunately probably a little bit too low to do a Tinkerer build, but we could do a Psychic as well. So I think I'm going to leave Chino to decide for a little bit later, but I'm probably going to do some sort of a caster here. We got Charizard, able to turn pickups into rot flies, really high intelligence and strength, but good stats across the board again. So another one that I can kind of do whatever with, because Spoil, generally speaking, like making food pickups is something that butchers will do more of, but there's no reason why other classes can't be making and taking advantage of food pickups. If I were to make it a butcher, the speed stat is pretty abysmal. That's not atypical of butchers. But I might want to do something more like a cleric, where yeah, we'll have a little bit of a lower speed, but look at some of these stats that they're useful things. You know, seven greens and basically every stat that matters for a cleric. This would be really nice. Then we've got Heisenburg, who's got a really low health, but pretty high in everything else. Again, high charisma. This could be high intrinsic charisma is often a thing that's useful for a tinkerer. Spawning random pickups by spending coins might be useful, might not be. It's kind of hard to tell. The other thing we could do is we could try and buff the health with something like Necromancer. Losing the strength doesn't really matter too much. Dexterity matters kind of for Necromancers. Their base attack relies on dexterity, but oftentimes they're doing much more like debuffing and more support type abilities instead. But these other, I mean, like, it's not like the intelligence is particularly high. This set of stats is not really looking that great. We're helping to buff the lowest stat, but we're not really doing much else with our stats here. Unfortunately, I don't think we really can get away with doing a druid. 4 health is just so low. We could try and buff that out with items. I actually do have an item right now that cares about having 5 or less HP. So this could be like an interesting idea. I mean, all the rest of these stats are really pretty reasonable. I think Tinkerer is the way that I'm going to go here. High intelligence, the intrinsic charisma is high enough to make use of the really high intelligence. The strength and dexterity sometimes matter depending on the weapons that he'll roll. And then we want to do something here with some sort of caster. I think probably mage or psychic is the way to go. Mage min-maxes our stats a little bit better, I think. So I think that this is going to be the 4 that we're going to try to go with. So let's look at what we've got here. Basically, that gains us coins, so we're going to be able to get a bunch of money, but this doesn't have any synergies with that right now. We just have distract and marked to get a bunch of crits right now. So no real synergies going on, so we might try to find some items to make that useful. We've got a whole bunch of ways to give other units mana, so hopefully we have somebody that has some big spell that can take advantage of that. And then our basic attack is doing splash damage, so we have the ability to hit some nearby enemies for extra damage. We got a double trinket effect here on Charizard, so we can do some real shenanigans with that. I had a previous run that was doubling the skill stone to make all my spells that match my class cost 2 less mana, and we were able to do some really broken things. So, for example, we could like make this prayer that heals units in an area only costs 2 or maybe even 1 mana, and then we could double its effect with where is it? With 2 of spades. And it just gets us, a ton of cheap healing and keep ourselves at really high health. I think I have that other cleric that I mentioned in my house. I kind of want to save these, the skill stone and these other, the 2 of spades for the next boss that comes to my house. So we may try to double up some other item, find some interesting synergies that we can do, like our basic attack inflicting burn 2 might be something that we could do here. And then over here, if we have a weapon, our basic attack becomes Hone, which repairs 1 use of the weapon and gives it +1 damage for the rest of the battle. So this is useful with some limited use items, like, for example, this Kandarian that only has 1 use, but it crits and affects bleed 10. We can just keep on repairing it over and over again. We won't be using our craft weapon and throw weapon in that world. We would just be basically keeping this fully repaired at all times. We also have the Strike's Case that lets us dash forward and then deal damage in an area, including to ourselves. So we may want to do something, if there's some abilities that synergize with us hurting ourselves, we can potentially lean into that. But we're really going to need to rely on our items for this run, it looks like. There's not a lot of clear synergies going on. The mana that we're giving away with Chino right now is not really going anywhere useful. So we got to find some, very strong attacks that use a lot of mana, or strong support abilities that use a lot of mana on one of these 3 cats during our level ups. And until then, we will try and make do. So because of the splash damage here, I believe that the splash damage has all the intrinsic effects of our basic attack. So something like Match Stick or something else that buffs our basic attack seems like it could potentially be really good. Another thing we may want to think about is we may want to grab one of these quest items. The Black Shard is the one that I'm leaning towards, as we got 14 charges on it, and we want to build that up to 20 so that it can transform into whatever its final form is. And we have a Cleric, which is a melee unit, and I found that this is really useful on melee units. It does, absorbing a unit with 14 or less health, it's insta-killing some pretty strong units right now, and being able to just get a couple of additional effects out of what we're doing. Extra kills for clerics have oftentimes some. If you get a kill, then heal your allies or give your allies all stats up. And having an extra way to take kills can often be very useful on a cleric.
Yeah.
So I think we'll try to do a Black Shard run. And then I think the most important question is, what is the Enchanted Relic Trinket going to be? So let's take a look at what we've got. So we could get 2 mini-me's that are AI controlled. That seems extremely useful, especially because they're going to be healing us a bunch. So that's my first inkling is let's just do that. We talked about the skill stone, a bunch of corpse health. We could try and kill ourselves, but that's not really synergistic with a cleric, generally speaking. We didn't take a necromancer this build, so that Sharon's Opal is probably not going to be particularly useful. Our basic attack could inflict burn 2. We're not doing much familiar stuff probably with a cleric. Yeah, I think this large meteor giving myself 2 mini-me's seems like a strong enough synergy that we can start there. And then we're going to lean into items that do as much powerful stuff as possible. So the Black Shard is a great start. We can have our mini-me's start to just kill units outright across battles. We have a couple pieces of feathered set. We actually, I think, have a feathered dart as a weapon somewhere that could give us a set bonus, but I think the feather set is just maybe extra movement. Check. Extra movement and flying. So we could have this unit be able to sort of go all over the map. But I think that might be more useful, for example, on our thief that wants to get into good positions for their attacks. So we'll keep the Black Shard. We'll keep the meteorite wherever it went. Oh, it's still on there. So this is the bandana I was talking about. So 5 less health, you have +3 damage, can move an extra damage turn. So it's a good thing I didn't do that on the druid, because that +3 damage probably would not have come very handy. Something like this superhero hat that gives us Holy Shield. Holy Shield often will synergize with future abilities that we're going to get. And having all of our mini-me's have additional Holy Shields to play with that enemies need to burn through seems like a great idea. Kinetic Spikes could be a useful ability for the allies to have. But just something like this that just grants a whole bunch of stats could be good. We also have a whole bunch of bone items that we got from last time. So I think we have a bone set. We've got this dry bone helm, we got the dry bone necklace, and then we've got glasses somewhere. Maybe I didn't keep the glasses. Well, that's too bad. So I guess we don't have a set for bone items right now. But the dry bone helm does seem pretty useful. I mean, this 6 armor, 2 thorns, and inflicting bruise 2 on units that contact me or either my little mini-me's can really junk up the battle a whole bunch. I think that'll be great. We could try and heal ourselves, although with all of these defensive abilities, something just getting some additional brace seems like or the kinetic spikes to just do additional. So this means that we just want to wade our cleric right into the thick of things. One of the nice things about prayer specifically as a healing option is it's one of the few cleric abilities that actually allows the cleric to heal itself. A lot of cleric abilities, like their melee attack and some of their single target heals, aren't able to target the cleric itself. So the cleric often has a lot of struggle trying to get itself healed up. But prayer healing in an area, it can actually overlap itself and heal itself. So I think that this set, with having 3 little dudes that are all really bulky, really trying to just wade into the thick of things and attack, with our Tinkerer and our Mage from behind just sort of doing range attacks and clean things up, and our Rogue can sort of go on and pick off any units that he needs to. Seems like a good synergistic set of builds that we might want to do. So looking at the weapons that we have for Hone, the Kandarian is the one that seems like it's probably the most relevant. This gives additional uses to the weapon, but it doesn't actually do anything with usable once per battle. So we could use it for something like Railroad Spikes, that has 8 uses, the Rusty Razor, or these Feather Darts. Although with 84 uses, it seems probably like Hone is not the most useful ability on that. Although you can +1 damage for the rest of the battle with using it 3 times a turn. That could be some really interesting repeatable source of damage that gets better and better over the course of the battle. Seems really interesting to me. So we could potentially do the feather set here on Heisenburg. His luck isn't that good, so we're not taking a ton of advantage of the extra dodge chance. But 11 speed and flying to be able to get into position for these feather darts, and then just being able to do on turn 1 3 attacks for I think it's about 2 damage, and then repeatedly upping that could be really cool. The other option is to just have this be more of a melee build. The only problem with that is his HP is so low. As much as I wanted to, always critting and inflicting bleed 10 is just so good to use over and over again, though. So maybe what we'll do is this. We'll give it the Kandarian, and then we'll see if we can... Actually, something I'm interested in is... Will the Kandarian be considered a bone item? It is. So we get 4 additional armor and the ability to find random common bone items at the end of each battle. So I'm actually kind of inclined to put this on Heisenburg then, so he'll have 10 armor, some extra thorns, maybe give him the brace ability from where did it go? Our white belt. And then we'll just have enough armor and brace to get in there and sort of wade in as a physical attacker. We still probably won't want to use rocket skates all that much, but with armor, it makes it a little bit more palatable because the damage that we're taking from rocket skates will be not on our HP that won't regenerate every battle, but it'll instead be on our armor, which will regenerate every battle. So then with these guys, we may want to make them bulky some other way. So we got a necklace and a hat to work with. Let's look at the hats that we have and see if any. So some of these abilities that like Charming Baby and Spider Baby. These are really useful with mini-me's because they're going to trigger also. So, for example, Charming Baby with 2 mini-me's, we would end up getting Charm 2 across 3 different enemies at the start of every battle, which is really dope. Scrapper's Hat, when you break in, items spawn 3 random pickups, so we could grab... so, actually, that is interesting as a separate build for the Tinkerer. So we could do something along those lines, which synergize. We've got... Oh, Bertle just gives us 1 coin. It doesn't actually give us pickups necessarily. But we did have Spoil, so creating a bunch of pickups from broken items could theoretically synergize with this. I think what we've got going on might just be stronger than that, though. So I think we might just go with the Superhero Hat like we're going to plan on doing before. Gives us Holy Shield and some health regeneration. We might try and find a necklace that gives us additional health regeneration, or just, brace like the leather choker does might be nice. Health regeneration went down. Revive. I tend to be a little skeptical of the revive at the end of round abilities. This can accumulate a bunch of injuries really fast on your units if you don't have a good way to keep them safe. But Health Feeder, becoming wet every turn, it keeps us from being burned. Something we could potentially do here is try to make this a Scalding Orb run going towards the moon, and use the Water Feeder to keep the burn from ever proccing. That's kind of a nice synergy, so I might leave the Water Feeder for a future run. Enter turn without casting any spells, gain +1 magic damage and +1 charge. We're not doing magic damage, but our mage is, and right now our mage doesn't necessarily want to be casting these very much, so I think the Stone Charm actually is really good here. For every 4th spell you cast, gain 2 intelligence. We could potentially be casting a lot of prayers. I don't think that's that good. +1 strength, +1 health, +1 charisma. Minus this seems great actually. Bumps our health up to 32. Gives us even more melee damage that we're doing. We have a little bit more front loading in terms of charisma versus intelligence, which doesn't change our plan all that much. It means we have more max mana, so if we're saving up mana over several turns, we can do a bunch of heals. And the slightly less movement is, I guess, a little annoying. I thought it was actually less ranged attack, but less movement is maybe not what we want. It would be really nice if we had a necklace that buffed our movement, but it doesn't look like we do. So we may just need to... I don't really want to sacrifice the superhero hat. I think it's important that we have some survivability. Although, we could do something like Feathered Cap and then multiple survivability options, like Debris and Leather Choker. Give ourselves 2 brace. Again, we have the ability to heal ourselves, so I'm not super worried about not having a lot of armor here. And 2 brace is usually enough to keep us from dying to all but like the strongest of abilities. And then here, this guy has 1 brace, but he's also got a zillion armor. So those are probably our 2 melee attackers for this run, are Charizard and Heisenburg. And then we just got to figure out what Bolito is doing. I think he mostly wants to lean into sort of maneuverability so that he can go and pick off individual enemies that are causing us trouble. Bone Knuckles can give us extra range and health regen for a single battle if the armor breaks. Not that exciting. He, I guess, probably isn't going to be casting all that many spells. An additional intelligence is maybe not the most exciting on a rogue. Bricks are really nice. I think we might use our Warm Bricks here. Just having the ability to, once per battle, stun anything guaranteed, especially on boss battles, can be really helpful. I don't think we have anything that's a coin synergy. Oh, we have coin burst. When we cut the coin, pick up gain plus 1 coin, find extra end of each battle. Well, maybe just take this and just try to become rich as soon as possible, and then just buy everything out from every shop that we find. We could try to go to the lab. That's interesting. Plus 1 health percent. All enemy bodies are revived to full health at the end of each round, except bosses. So Spider Baby is really helpful with the cooler, which still had this ability as a quest item, and it still has this ability now as the time chamber that has the heart inside of it. So for those who don't know, this was a quest item that we needed to take to the Throbbing Domain to get the heart of the king from there, as part of a quest in the lab to fix the time machine that's there. So what I might do here is I might give this to Chino and give either him or Bolito the Spider Baby hat. We'll probably put it on Chino because Chino doesn't need abilities that give him defensive capabilities. He's got 20 health, and for a ranged unit that's staying behind a bunch of bulky frontliners, he's probably going to be out of harm's way most of the time. So we might try and find something that gives him the ability to cast more interesting spells, or give him longer term. So like something like glasses might be really good here. For long-term development, we're probably going to get some abilities that cost a bunch of mana, and if we don't get them on one of our other units, which we might try and find something so that our mage can give a bunch of mana over. But if we get something expensive on Chino, then these glasses are going to give him the ability, less survivability, not that important because of the fact that we're backliner, and the intelligence stat is going to be really important so that we can cast our big stuff over and over again. And we can always, what I was going to say is we can always swap this over to another unit if another unit is doing the big spell stuff, and then have Chino funnel mana into them as well. And as far as weapons go, something like Railroad Spikes might be good. Actually, Whetstone is, this is a basic attack. This is both magical and physical. I'm interested in whether Whetstone is actually going to synergize here. This probably won't help the magic splash damage, but it would probably make the base damage do more. I think we might just do something like Railroad Spikes, or just leave it blank for right now. Again, something that I've talked about in previous runs is leaving some item slots blank, generally speaking, is totally fine, especially in a run like this where we're going to be getting a whole bunch of coins. I'm not really worried about the fact that we're going to find good items to put in the rest of the slots. If there's nothing that's clearly synergistic, leaving a couple spots blank means we keep better items at home in case this run goes totally south and we end up dying. And generally speaking, we just won't need in the first couple battles all of our slots to be filled, and we'll find enough stuff throughout the run that we'll be able to do stuff. Our basic attack is a 25% chance to shoot an asteroid at what it hits. I'm not 100% sure what an asteroid means, but given that we're probably going to be doing Lux-based we might be improving our luck-based stuff at some point. And 10% chance to block isn't bad. I'm kind of intrigued by this mini moon as a Bolito. And then we're just looking for any synergies in our necklaces or our classes. What? Down revive again. I don't tend to like these guys very much. Reviving just... I've found that reviving is a really good way to just get killed over and over again. Not seeing as much as the feathered mask, I guess, is dodge chance is nice. We have the feathered cap and the feather darts as a set, but this feather cap isn't worn yet, so I think I might save this feathered mask in my items and the feather darts for a future run to put that set on somebody. And this feather cap will, as long as I survive this run, this will come back worn. And then I'll just leave these 2 slots blank, and we'll just go ahead and go to the lab. Wow. So we got some fluffy gatos, and we're gonna go ahead and see what we can do with this build, and maybe get to a time machine. All right. So we have some gametes that are going to spawn some additional units. I believe that the way that this works is on turn 1, it's going to like bulk itself up, and then if it's killed or if it finishes its turn, the next round it'll pop out some another little duder. So unfortunately for us, we don't have the ability to get in range of either of these half humans for our black shard on turn 1. Melee attack that immobilize may dodge attacks unless attacked from the human side. So ideally, we would want to like get around to the backside of one of these guys if we can. They've got 3 moves, so 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. So here is, I believe, outside of its threatened range. So let's move here. We could turn this into a Rotfly. That's the only health pickup that's on the board right now. Is that something in the corner? No, it's just this other gamete back here. I think I'm going to just save that mana and just end turn here. On the other hand, Bolito definitely is going to be able to get into range. We can attack this one from the side, which is not the human side, so this might... Marked is going to make it so it can't miss also, which is great. So we're just going to mark this guy and nail throw him, and with the crit, that will kill his back half. When they're a half human and they get hurt, they only move 1 per turn, and then they have a spin attack, but they can't dodge anymore. So this guy isn't a threat to me to attack back, which is rogues are decently good against them, taking them out, which is nice. These guys in the back are going to be a bit of a pain. Hopefully my mage will be able to sort of get close enough to do stuff. So we're going to hone our Kandarian. That did not repair 1 use. I see. Well, that's a shame. So I guess repair 1 use only repairs uses that are used up. So we're unfortunately not going to be able to just use the Kandarian over and over and over again. We're just going to use it once, and then it's going to go away, and that'll be it for it. So I'll probably... I might try and save this for a boss, but honestly, I might just try and craft better weapons and just use this up on something... I mean, potentially like this half-human, although if it dodges, then I'm really going to be kind of SOL. But I think it's worth taking the risk. Because if we do hit it, then the bleed would have given it enough to die in its second form. So that's too bad. We're in a little bit of a pickle now. I think we're going to basically use Make-A-Wish every single turn that we can. With Bolito giving us free coins all the time and then picking up coins at double and giving us additional coins, I think we just want to try and basically like make as many coins and food pickups as possible. So we're going to take some damage there, but that's okay, not the end of the world. And then this magic dart is line of sight, so actually getting these gametes in the back is really going to be a problem. We may have to get a little bit in harm's way to do any damage this turn, which is a shame. So what I think I might do is just go ahead and give some mana to Charizard over here, and plan to maybe Magic Dart this one after Charizard goes after him. Or actually, it might be the best to sort of go after this middle half human, since this one is almost certainly going to be taken out by Bolito next turn, and this one is almost certainly going to get absorbed by Charizard's Black Obelisk. So I think maybe we'll just go over this way with the plan of helping out on this half human, or this middle half human on a future turn, and just not worry about giving charges, because that's going to buff our magic damage and our charge. We just might have to deal with the fact that these back guys are going to be spawning some additional units as well. So our mini Charizard tried to absorb this guy, but unfortunately missed. Our other mini Charizard just passed his turn, which is kind of a confusing move. Oh, Black Shard can't be used multiple times. That's interesting. So the Black Shard is usable once per battle, and it's all 3 of these little Black Shards on my mini-me's all count towards it. So what we may have to do then is give this Black Shard to someone else. Although we don't really have a great bearer of it, unfortunately. Alright, we are learning on this run. Oh, okay, so this just recharge. Okay, so it just like wasn't showing as usable because of the fact that I wasn't next to an enemy. Okay, never mind. Cool, so then we have 3 Black Shard uses is as good as I thought it was. That's excellent. Spun a Spiderling from it dying, even though it was absorbed and didn't die naturally, which is great. And then we can sort of go back here and sort of try and take out whatever gets summoned on a future turn. Nobody's taking damage, so nobody needs healing, so we can just pass. We're going to do another crit marked attack on this to take it out. And then I think we're going to go basically as far back as we can. We want to try and take out some of these back units as soon as possible. We have the flexibility to go back after this half human if we have to, or if these guys spawn, completely useless units. But I strongly suspect they're going to be something that I need to start caring about shortly. I can't hit that with a brick, so I think that's going to be our turn. What's this game going to pop up? Just a pooter, not too scary, which is good. So we got to craft something up. Battery is okay. We can use that from where we are, even though we're immobile. We could rocket skates, but we're not hitting anything. So I think we're just going to make another wish and drop a coin and call that good. Pooter just attacked our familiar, which is totally fine. So we are going to... this half-human already went, so we can go ahead and get in range with this magic dart and blast him down. He is actually going to scoot forward and probably spin attack both of us, which is not ideal. But what can you do? Hopefully, Mini Charizard over here, or this Mini Charizard will come up and take care of him before that happens. We don't have anybody that we want to give anything to, so we're just going to keep upping our magic damage slowly but surely. Again, Kitten is not too scary. It's going to do some damage to us from behind, but could be worse. And then this is going to drop out, again, another Pooter. Alright, so these are dropping not too strong enemies. I was a little nervous that they were going to be really painful, but... Because, I was worried that they're going to drop enemies from the lab that have some really nasty abilities. But fortunately, they do not seem to be doing that. So I think right now taking the kill on the Kitten... Well, working on the Gamete might be better. Hard to tell. We could have turned to pick up into our Rotfly, take net 7 damage on the Gamete, and hope that between... So Heisenburg's throw ability will definitely be able to kill the Kitten. We could also hope that, I guess, both of these mini-me's are going after the Kitten. Yeah. So we are going to need one of these 2 units to take it out. I guess our Mage doesn't have much to attack besides the Kitten. So I think coming over here and doing the damage to the Gamete is in fact the right move. And then the question is, do we want to turn this into a Rotfly and hope that the Rotfly can come and help us maybe take some kills over here? I don't think it's worth it. I think we're just going to toss a heal over here if anybody needs it. Looks like the answer is no, so I think we're going to save that mana and damage turn. And then here, we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing. We're going to do marked. Oh, we can't do marked within... this has to be range 3 or more away. So I think what we're going to have to do here, unfortunately, I think we're going to do our nail throw attack first. We get a lucky crit or kill it with fire damage. Oh, because we got an asteroid spawn. Oh, that's interesting. So that's what the mini moon does. Cool. And now we can't move behind it, unfortunately, because his body is in the way. So what I was thinking we were going to do is if we killed it, then we could stun this Gamete so it didn't spawn something additional. Which I think is probably still the move because hopefully this mini Charizard is going to loop back around the back to kill this Gamete. And then we can start looping around ourselves. Maybe we'll grab this coin to get 2 coins to start spawning some more pickups, and we'll call that good. That's not that helpful. We can add more uses to this battery, which is nice. I think right now the move is get within range of battery to try and take this kitten out. There's nothing else. I guess our mage could potentially come down here and kill this kitten, but I'm not going to be able to. So that will actually take this Gamete out. So I think that's the play here, is make sure that Gamete dies again, so we can sort of like work our way through this set of enemies here. And actually, dealing damage to ourselves, I think, is worth taking this kitten out and freeing our mage up to do something else. Again, this damage is on armor, so we're not really losing out on anything. Unfortunately, we're not really reaching anywhere super helpful this turn, but what I'm hoping is that I can maybe get around back and have line of sight to this rock, which will let the splash damage hit this Gamete on a future turn. I could also just collect this coin. I think the extra... I think that would give... I mean, more healing, I guess, is the only thing the extra mana is going to do right now. I think we're just going to move all the way back and go ahead and try and work our way back around to this Gamete. You're surrounded by a couple rocks right now, which is not super helpful. I think that one actually might be the one I'm going after here. Surely. Mini Charizard is unfortunately just coming to heal us and not helping out with the attacks, which is not ideal, but could be worse. So we're going to take that kill on the Pooter. Here, we will be able to inflict Marked on this guy before we try and start to move around. But unfortunately, that is an enemy Pooter. Yeah, I think we're just going to come here. Oh, because its corpse did revive. Right. So the summons, I'm going to need to be more careful about killing their corpses. Because the corpses do come back to life of the summons. Yeah, versus the infested is keeping the corpses of the natural enemies on the board from coming back. So we don't have a ton of range on our battery. We could potentially use it up on nothing to try and craft a new weapon that might be more useful. We could also just go ahead and do another Rocket Skates all the way back here and take this Gamete out, which is a decent play. We have enough healing, probably, that we don't need to be too worried about the attrition. So yeah, let's hone this battery, and let's take this Gamete out. And take that kill so that we just don't have to worry about it. Honestly, I'm kind of tempted to try and work on another kill here. But I don't think it's necessary. We'll do another Make-A-Wish, try and get this coin somewhere near Bolito if possible. Good, the spider's going to take that guy out without making a corpse. This Gamete is almost dead. I think at this point... Yeah, we're not going to be able to get close enough to hit this guy this turn. I think we're getting close to winning this battle with just spider damage and these mini guys anyway. Although this Pooter is going to do... We have to go take out the spider, fine. Cool. He's just going to be healing my attrition up, which is nice. So I think picking up a couple more coins on these couple turns is probably the way to go. As I don't think we're going to be needing a lot more damage to get this cleaned up. We're going to mark these last two guys. We aren't able to hit either of them right now with him, but this Rocket Skates is going to take both of them out, and then hopefully we'll heal enough at the end of battle. The other thing we could try and do is get Chino up here, which would potentially kill... I think just taking... It's interesting. This is now 4 damage. It's going to be 5. So we can actually take the kill on this Gammy here. Trying to save myself a little bit of attrition damage. Move back. And between these spiders... Yeah, the spider critted, so we didn't need to take the damage. It might have healed off at the end of battle anyway, but I don't like to take unnecessary risks with health. Especially on a unit like Heisenburg that is not, it's being a frontline unit with his items, but is really not meant to be. Although, depending on which items we get in the item slot, we may not be very frontline anymore. Alright, so Chino, we're looking for something that costs a lot of mana. Icicle Zapper seems like a great candidate for this. Has a bunch of chances to inflict a bunch of statuses. Shooting a straight line is not that much of a problem. Icicle increases range and slow every turn. At 2 turns against Immobilize 1, at 3 turns against Freeze 1. It doesn't do any damage though, so as much it would be something that'd be nice to be casting a couple times on multiple different enemies. So potentially could be useful. Lose damage equal to half of our basic attack damage rounded up. The rest of our battle we can attack an extra time each turn. So this is actually interesting with our item, where if we don't cast spells, we gain magic damage over time. So we could divide on turn 1 and then let our multiple attacks sort of compound. Divide also might be useful with the fact that I think this magic splash damage might not be affected by the divide. It's hard to know without using it. And Switch is just some more mobility, being able to pull some enemy units behind my lines, which could be potentially useful. I think Icicle Zapper is the way that I want to go. Just the nice thing about having 10 intelligence is just being able to cast something like Icicle Zapper literally every single turn, with a bunch of chances of stun and freeze, can take out bosses, can really trivialize a lot of encounters, and does magic damage to a bunch of different things. And in turns that we're not casting spells, it's upping our magic damage with the item that we have, and so this Icicle Zapper is only going to get stronger if we don't have a couple turns where we don't attack. I think that both of these are sort of equal. This looks like one of the leftovers items that only heals a little bit of HP. I think we're going to just try and ignore this mousetrap and not mess with it, to just not risk some negative effect from that. These half dogs leap with knockback. They leap the direction that they're facing when they're damaged. So he's going to be leaping at us if we cause damage to him. I think that might be okay. If he jumps on top of Charizard, we can heal the damage off, no problem. And hitting him once is going to get us within range. I was going to say to Black Shard him, but unfortunately he jumped completely over us and pushed us 1 back. So we're just going to heal that damage off of, I think, probably ourselves, with the intuition that these 2 mini Charizards will probably heal this damage off of Bolito by themselves. So we'll pray over here, get ourselves up to full, face away from the scrap so that our backside is defended. That's great. We want him to sort of be taking free damage from the creep. So now, I think what we want to do ideally is these 2 have additional turns. So going here is potentially risky in that it's going close enough to this half dog that he might be able to attack, to move forward 1 and then jump on top of us. But what I would love to do is be able to mark and nail throw this one. Another safer option might just be to push this boulder into this half dog, and then hope that one of the mini Charizards will... It seems like they were very willing to use their obelisks on stuff, so I think what we're going to do is we're just going to come over here mark this one, and then nail throw the boulder into it, and then hopefully be able to take it out with a crit from one of our other allies. That did expose us to damage that I did not realize, which is not great. But we've got a pogo stick, which we can use to whittle one of these guys down, or we can try and get closer to like this half rat maybe. Not great options here, because both these guys hopefully will be getting obelisked. This one is going to take another turn before we do anything. That's concerning. So maybe what we'll do here is pogo stick, and then maybe just try and rocket skates to just kill it before it can get another attack off on all of our units. This is the one that I'm most worried about, because if I guess Chino will get a turn before we have to worry about it. Not a great set of first turns, unfortunately. So he's going to move forward one and jump to here. So I think we're safe to grab this coin for right now. Put a pickup somewhere. Some food that we can maybe turn into a rot fly. Oh no. Oh, the spider really screwed me there. That's unfortunate. He's going to go twice in a row. Right, so hopefully these mini Charizards are going to take out these two half dogs with their obelisks. So at least healing Bolito up. Fortunate set of events for Chino. I wish there might have been a way to prevent damage to him. I wasn't really seeing the line, and that spider moving was really unexpected. Here, I think I just want to use my melee attack to heal, and then move over here to Black. Oh, he's not at low enough HP. We're taking some really silly lines, unfortunately. I think we're just going to spoil this food in the back. And take some more unnecessary damage. Still not in range to mark him. We can't really get anywhere where we can get a guaranteed mark. We could throw a brick at this boulder to get around it and crit this guy to death. That might be the move. Come over here, get a free coin, not be able to do marked. I really need to slow down a little bit, I think. I'm just missing some lines here. Taking a lot of unnecessary damage. Unfortunately, we did get the block trigger, which is great. So I think we're not really going to get in pogo stick range on that guy. So I think here we just want to probably move away. I don't see a world in which 5 damage plus 2 spider attacks is going to be enough to kill him. So I think that we just want to make sure that we are not taking damage from his flop on multiple units if we can avoid it. Pick up some more coins, we'll get some heals from our little mini allies. That's good, he attacked our spider instead of attacking us. And our mini-me is going to heal us back up to full. Rotfly is going to take that guy out, and then we'll be able to now finally be able to get this black shard off. So a little bit of an unfortunate battle. We took an injury that we probably could have found a way to avoid. We don't have a ton of healing from items to keep Chino safe on like the first turn of the battle. But I think the Charizard and the mini-me's will hopefully be able to heal him up back to full pretty quickly. A Nurse Bot is another way for us to be able to sort of heal one of our allies. Although the Tesla Coil is slightly more appealing as a way to spend a lot of mana on something useful. Spend 5 coins to heal 10 HP once per turn. Doesn't seem super useful. We are going to have a bunch of coins, so eventually this will essentially be a free heal 10 every single turn, which might be useful with like using rocket skates more often. But generally speaking, I just think that we have so much armor on Heisenburg that health isn't really the way. Like I don't want to risk myself getting down to 2 HP in order to maximize the use of Vet Visit. So I think the Tesla Coil, that being able to, if we get tech upgrades later or some upgrades to what we're building, we can make these Tesla Coils really nice. I'm pretty sure the Tesla Coil Plus lets us put it anywhere on the map, or at least place it at range, so we can sort of put it away from our allies. But because he's kind of a go into the thick of things defensive unit anyway, I'm not too worried about like plowing into units using Tesla Coil and then moving away so that Tesla Coil is maximized in and among some enemy units. Repairing more uses, we already have that as our passive. I don't think we need to repair additional uses. What we're getting right now is not that good. And then we got Underspot that heals allies. I think that this Tesla Coil is the way to go based on what we need. We don't really need more healing. The thing that we're most in need of is just damage output, and that will give us at least a little bit more of that. So the Roar Bat's a melee attack that inflicts some confusion on enemies. We don't really want to give it to Heisenburg, and I don't think Chino is very likely to ever really be in melee range of enemies. We might give it to him anyway, just so that if an enemy is close enough to him, he can give them confusion to sort of back them off a little bit. Buttons and levers. We don't really have any information about what to do, so I think we're just going to pull a lever, I guess. Great. We learned some ability because I made just a deeply skillful choice. When unit damages us, counterattack doing 1 damage and inflicting bruise. That's actually really, really nice on a unit that's already doing melee, but also on the fact that this is on all of our mini-me's as well. And we've got 2 brace, so we don't mind being damaged at all. That's great. That's a really nice pickup. Cool. So we'll go into the mini-boss here, and we'll see what Alice is going to do to us. Hopefully she does not do an attack at range that just kills Chino off before he takes a turn. Psychic choke attack that inflicts bruise on them in her line of sight, knocks back any enemy that casts a spell. Alright, so we're going to try to not cast spells when we are in somewhere that taking knockback will do a bunch of damage. So I think the move here is we're going to move as close as we can, and then we're going to do a heal that makes sure that Chino isn't going to get one-shot by her psychic choke attack. Let's do that. We'll get knocked back. Oh, we'll get knocked back on a full distance on the line. That is not really what I was hoping for, but alright. If I know that, then I might have just gone a little bit forward than the melee lick attack instead. But now we've learned what that does. So I think we're not going to take the marked on Alice in that case. I think we're just going to move up and do a regular nail throw. So as not to get knocked back into ourselves. So let's see what we craft. It's a pogo stick, that's great. So we're going to just go ahead and try and start wailing on her as much as possible. I don't think Rocket Skates is really getting us anything here. I do think we want to grab this health pickup. It'll get us at least in range that we can do the splash damage on her. And then our mini Charizards are going to be doing some healing. Oh, so knocks back any enemy that casts a spell. That's interesting. Both of my mini-me's cast spells but weren't knocked back. I'm surprised that that's the case. I wonder if there's some mechanic for deciding whether or not that happens, or if it only ever happens on our primary units. Interesting. So we've got a boulder here, which we can't quite reach anything on this turn. So a thing we could consider doing is just going to get this coin, melee attacking this trash badge, and relying on our allies to take this mini boss out. Everybody's at decent HP. I'm not super worried about until we accumulate a bunch more bruises. I'm not super worried about her winning this battle. So I think this might be the play to just get some additional pickups on the board potentially. We can grab this coin. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to use the opportunity to stun her, so that while she's stunned, we'll be able to get a marked off and do a bunch of extra damage, hopefully. I don't think marked stacks. We can try. It'd be really nice if it did, because return is next, and stunned won't clear it. That's great. Okay, cool. So we're going to hone our pogo stick. We're going to go ahead and pogo stick off of her. And then we're going to just move one back, and we're going to put a Tesla coil just right behind her, I think. We'll spawn around and pick up somewhere. Hopefully it is somewhere useful. We are taking some damage from a source of damage from the Tesla coil, maybe. Not sure. So the Tesla coil can take a hit of splash damage if we need it to. So what we might do is go ahead and just blast her for her. Blast the rock. She's at 11 damage now, so we could do an icicle zapper, though we will get pushed back. Slow 2. She's got 11 health. I wonder if Mini Charizard is in range. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite. I think it might be worth. Going for this. If we get double damage, going physical damage is a 100% crit chance. So the question is it? So she has 4 brews. So this actually will, if the Tesla coil fires off and hits her, this and the bruise will be enough to kill her. But we might just want. Oh, the Tesla coil already went. I see. That's why she's such a low health. So I don't think that we have any opportunity to kill her this round. So I think we're just going to end turn without casting a spell. Let ourselves get a little bit of heal. So that time she did knock her back. So maybe it's only once per turn or once per round. Unclear. Let's see what happens with this prayer. Yeah, so that time it didn't get knocked back. So I wonder if she's only able to knock back a certain number of enemies per round or something. Cool, so we can Black Shard the trash bag, apparently, which I did not know. That's a pretty funny combination. And then we get a whole bunch of free coins. And now, with her at 11 and having 4 brews on her, I think we're going to just try and take her out right here. Pretty nice battle. And I didn't take any attrition there. And let's see what we've got. So Nail Flurry is potentially incredible. I've had some builds where Nail Flurry can get up to doing just a whole ton of damage with anything that boosts our dexterity over time. There's a passive that lets you, when you collect coins, it boosts your range attack, your dexterity, and then starts to make Nail Flurry. It might not be Nail Flurry, it might be another attack, because these explicitly say they're 1 damage nails. I think that means that they're actually capped at 1 damage and can't do any more. But marked gives them crit, and if we're attacking from behind with crit, then this could be up to like 40 damage potentially, which this combination lets us do. We don't really have the intelligence and charisma to pull that off maybe necessarily right now, but our mage could give us a bunch of mana potentially to do that. Or other options, we could do Declaw to inflict -1 damage and bleed on things. There's also some more maneuverability, although, again, maneuverability is not really what Bolito's hurting forward at the moment. It's really a damage output. I think Nail Flurry might be the move. Just give ourselves sort of the opportunity to start to use Inspire and Rouse on early turns to make Bolito be able to use a high damage attack more often or earlier on in the battle. I guess the one counterpoint is that because of Delito's higher speed, he's probably going to be going before Chino on most turns. So really it's only on turn 2 that we'll be able to start using Inspire and Rouse on Bolito anyway. And at this point, it seems like Icicle Zapper might just be a better use of Chino's mana most of the time. Still think Nail Flurry is what we want. I just think that what I was talking about donating mana just might not realistically happen all that often. Everybody's at full health. we've got a lucky hat that we could put on Bolito just to have luck rather than getting an asteroid sometimes. None of these other hats seem particularly riskable. This lucky hat is just not very good. I think we just hold on to it and plan to put it on some future unit, hypothetically. Alright, so we've got a rock here. It's not anywhere near anything. We could definitely spoil a couple pieces of food. That seems like a decent turn 1 play to get us some raw flies that'll just like take these guys' turns up. If we can kill these Stacies earlier, the better, because them granting all sets up repeatedly to their allies is really obnoxious. And if they ever get close enough to inflict charm, that also can be a ton of extra damage that we don't really want to take. And then these half-rats do chain and dash attacks. We want to be really careful around them, not give them opportunities to sort of come in and wreck our entire team, if possible. So we're going to try and take them out on the early side. I'm going to stay behind this to hopefully not get chain dashed, if it comes and tries to chain dash this fly. Don't really want to be in a position where that is going to bite us. These boulders are a little obnoxious. I might just destroy this boulder to not risk this half-dog pushing it somewhere more dangerous. Because I don't think we're going to be able to get anywhere. Oh, Marks doesn't do crits on the boulder. That's too bad. So again, I don't really want to necessarily go out into the open with this half-rat and risk it chain attacking us for a bazillion damage. I think what I might do is, what maybe I should have done is come over here and attack this rock into the Stacy. I guess I still could do that with these bricks. The other option would be, I guess, to come over here and stun this half-dog. But I don't think that's going to do much for us. He's only taking one more turn. He's going to jump into his boulder. He's not going to push it particularly far. I think we might come over here and go ahead and take the damage on the Stacy with the intuition that next turn we can nail throw into these two rocks and do another chain hit to hopefully kill it. Although if the half-dog is in the way, that is not going to be possible. We'll see what we can do. We've got a ranged attack, which we might want to just do on this rock. I think that's the most damage we're going to be able to deal. This is only range 3, so we're not going to be able to hit the Stacy in the back. So I think going somewhere like maybe here to hit this. Oh, actually, that'll hit. That isn't straight down aerial attack, so it doesn't count for pushing rocks, which is too bad. This half dog will be jumping on this one and hitting it into Bolito. Not much we can do about that. Could rocket skates into this half rat, but then we're kind of stuck over there. It might, but it probably is going to move forward and chain attack us anyway. This will at least keep it, I think, from chain attacking anyone else if we do the rocket skate. So I think that might be the move. Because then he'll dash into us, but then he'll have nowhere else to dash elsewhere on the map. Spawn some more pickups, see what we get. Oh, mini Charizard coming in clutch, potentially. Yep, good job, mini Charizard. Way to jump in and take that guy out without getting some damage on us. And then they're going to heal us all up, which is fantastic. They're going to get chain dash and get cancer. Not sure exactly what that means, but it doesn't really sound very good. Okay, so here I don't really see anything better than just magic attacking this guy and then sort of getting out of the way of him if possible. I think we might just want to move up 1 or 2 spaces to be kind of close to this mini Charizard is almost certainly going to be getting some area of effect heals from our other allies. I think this is probably around where I want to be. I'm a little bit nervous that this half dog is going to jump this way, but I'm hoping that Charizard gets a turn early to be able to black Obelisk out of existence. He did not, so that's going to be a bunch of extra damage. This is tough. So now we have a choice. So this guy is not going to be going for a while, but we can't really one-hit kill him with anybody else. This half-rat we might have a better chance at killing before his turn with Bolito. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to come up here and take the Black Shard kill. And then we're just going to start healing some of our allies here up. Call that a turn. And then we do have this half-rat here that is going to be chain attacking into some of our units. We have a ton of coins back here that I would love to get at some point. We could go back here and start killing these Stacies with 3 move. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This one is not going to be able to get anywhere dangerous on this turn, and neither will this one. So I think that killing this half-rat before it has a turn is unfortunately probably our biggest priority. Unfortunately, because this pile of coins, the most likely way for us to get it is with Bolito. But we might have to try and maybe like loot Chino back here, killing this Stacy. We'll see what we can do. So we're going to mark just to guarantee that this is killing this off. That might actually marked might not have been the play there because there's no reason that that would have missed. And then next turn we could have nail flurried on something, but that's okay. It's only a slight waste of mana. Fortunately, the half-rat did not attack anything important. 2 Stacies are just going to lick each other, which I'm not too worried about. So we are going to be able to start to get a little bit closer to doing helpful stuff with Heisenburg. I think we're going to go ahead and put a Tesla coil over here. Hopefully it has enough range to do something useful. And then unfortunately this battery is not far enough to do anything relevant. And Tesla coil is only close enough to Heisenburg to hit him. Mini Charizard is fortunately going to Black Shard that rat. We get a big spider there. We can't get in line with them. 1, 2, 3 would be within charming range. So I don't think we want to pick that coin up. I think we're going to grab these coins instead and just concede the fact that we're not attacking anything this turn. Yeah, these Stacies unfortunately are going early enough. 1, 2, 3, so I might charm the Tesla coil. I'm not too worried about that, I don't think. 1, 2, 3, so we still can't pick these up. And we don't want to do anything with that Spiderling. I think what we're probably going to do is just come over on this side and start healing Heisenburg back up. And then here we can move a little bit closer with the goal of getting to those coins next turn. That was 4 move now because of the fact that they have all stats up. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Heisenburg is going to be doing some shenanigans to our teammates and himself via rocket skates. That's going to be a ton of pain. Ugh. Yeah, these Stacies are really, really dangerous when they want to be. Alright, we'll take this one out, heal ourselves up a little bit. If that's about all we can do. Then unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to take the risk of this Stacy charming somebody else relevant. I think we're just going to need to take the win here and leave a bunch of coins behind. Not a very clean battle at all. The all stats up oversight was a big one for us, unfortunately. And now we've got a couple units that are in harm's way, although losing luck is not the end of the world for Heisenburg. Losing speed and luck, again, probably for Chino, not the end of the world. I would like some more speed, ideally, but he's probably still going to be able to be useful at range. So, dash attack with range equal to the amount of HP we healed other units this turn. So with an AoE heal like Prayer, Holy Weapon can get to be a whole bunch of damage. And it gives Charizard what Charizard is lacking the most is maneuverabilities, like actually getting into position to be in battle. Stand-in also potentially could be useful, although with two mini-me's that also want to be getting into range to do stuff, I think Holy Weapon is going to be a better option to more likely be useful on the mini-me's. Because stand-in is going to require the mini-me's to swap with whatever the alpha is, and the mini-me's might use stand-in and to make something an alpha that I don't even want to be the alpha, which isn't going to let me use this ability sword as its maximum potential. Turnfoe I don't think is particularly useful. We don't have any ranged abilities, and so making enemies run away won't be very great. And Burgeoning Barrier, like over time, this can make one of your units like sort of unstoppable in like longer term boss battles. But generally speaking, we've got enough HP and survivability that I don't think we need that right now. So we're going to hope that we get something really good in this treasure that is going to start to like turn our luck around a little bit. So Spider Hat means when we destroy a corpse, we spawn 2 Spiderlings. I think... I'm not sure, but I think that Infested technically is destroying the corpse rather than destroying the enemy at 0 HP. So I think this might actually be a really nice combo. I think what we might want to do is replace this Mini-Moon that isn't triggering very much. We've only got 6 luck. And we're getting crits not really by more luck stat, but by doing marks more often. So I think that the Spider Hat might just spawn a ton of Spiderlings onto every single battle that when we get kills. We'll try it on this battle, and we'll see what happens. We can free a unit, free something in this jar. Our luck is not very high, though. And I don't think we'll take any negative effect by ignoring this, so I think we're just going to take a negative effect by ignoring it. So Heisenburg now. Heisenburg has all stats down, and adjacent units get all stats down too. So the upside of adjacent units getting all stats down too is that if we're rocket skating into like the thick of a bunch of enemies and using this stuff defensively, we potentially will be able to distribute all stats down 2 to some enemies. But Heisenburg is now pretty useless. So something that I actually am starting to think about is whether we want to just sacrifice Heisenburg on this run. So something that I haven't tried doing but have had the thought of in previous runs is the first cat that you lose, you always on the next opportunity get offered a basic cat that comes in with a Neverstone. The Neverstone means that you can have your cat not level up if it's equipped in its passive slot. And that means that while you do have one cat that's like kind of useless compared to your other 3, the other 3 cats are getting their level ups much more often. And in the scenario like this where we have one cat that is kind of useless anyway, like Rocket Skates isn't doing anything, the items we're crafting are really not good enough, and Blacksmith isn't making them good enough fast enough to be useful, Make-A-Wish isn't helpful, and being adjacent to units and giving them all sets down at the beginning of battles, this is terrible, because he's going to be nearby all of our friends, and all of our friends are going to have artificially lowered HP at the start of the battle. So we may want to just have Heisenburg get killed off, just use Rocket Skates a couple times in a battle to maximum effect, have him go down, and then intentionally make his corpse die in some way. We'll get some spiders off of the corpse being destroyed, and then we'll get a hopefully more useful basic cat, but then also concentrate our level ups onto our 3 units that are actually going to be doing the most for the rest of this run. So I think that's going to be the plan going into this battle. We'll see what we get. There might be opportunities to do other things, but that's what my thought is right now. So right now, I'm going to be using a prayer. To those ends, I'm not going to be healing this 1 damage off of him right now, but I am going to want to heal Chino up. So I'm going to go ahead and do an AoE heal over here. And that's going to give us enough range and enough damage with Holy Weapon that we can kill one of these champion Doctor Cats. So neither of them have anything in particular that they're doing, but this one has 2 half dogs behind him, and this one only has one. And this one also has a coin that I can pick up. So I think it's safer to go here. Oh, it has knockback equal to the HP I healed also. So I'm not going to be able to stay in range for Black Shard, unfortunately. But this is actually going to get him in Black Shard range for a future turn. Then I'm going to face this way, going to go ahead and pick up this coin with my melee attack, and call that good. So he's able to odd remote, I think, probably anything anyway. In that case, he didn't even have a targeted attack. So I'm not too worried about getting in range of these Dr. Cats or like that. And he wants to be as close to enemies as possible to be able to use his abilities anyway. So now that he's reduced, he's got some dodge chance. So we're going to want to maneuver Bolito over to kill him, I believe, because we can mark him and make sure that, despite the fact that he's got this 4 movement up, and the one mark will make it so he can't dodge, which I think is probably important because we don't want to risk him being able to sort of take out a whole bunch of our allies. So we're going to kill him. We do get the 3 spiders, which is huge. So that's going to be a really good combo for us for the rest of this run. And then I think if we're able to... we're not, unfortunately, because these guys are just out of range. I was going to say it would be nice to stun one of these so that we're not risking them jumping into this big batch of our units. But actually, they're going to be jumping at each other and at Charizard over here instead. And Charizard's just going to get comboed to death, which... this is what happens in Mewgenics sometimes. He's not getting covered to death at least. Well, no, now he is. And his body is also going to actually get destroyed. I don't think that there's any real way that I could have predicted that happening. Like, sometimes Mewgenics is just going to be cruel to you like that. So now we just have to, I think, roll with Heisenburg, because I don't think going down to 3, I mean, maybe going down to 3 cats is still worth it. Heisenburg is pretty bad. Oh, man, this is really rough. We don't even have rocket skates right now because of how bad his abilities are. We've got a bomb. So we could go ahead and scoot over here so we're not adjacent to units anymore and blow this guy up. I might as well spawn a Make-A-Wish token, I guess. We're going to be in a ton of trouble. Not only have we lost our quest item now, which means I think it's going to get reset to 1 also, but also we've lost all of these mini Charizards on future battles. So we are going to be down to just really Bolito and Chino as useful units. So I do not have a lot of faith in this run proceeding any further. We're going to try and get to the time machine at least, but I think that we're just sort of in for it now, unfortunately. There's no pickups that I can get. I could inspire Bolito a couple times, but I think that Icicle Zapper might just be better. Hard to tell. Both these enemies are kind of in death range anyway. It's really a shame that I can't get within splash damage range of this half dog. I actually maybe could. I could line of sight to here. Let's try that. Because then this spider who's getting crushed is going to be able to kill it. Alright, so here... I think the biggest risk here is definitely this half dog. The Dr. Cat's going to do a random spell, but I'm not nearly as worried about that as I am about this half dog doing even more damage than he already has to our cause. This Dr. Cat is going to take a hit here, so we are going to be able to finish him off with Chino magic darting him. And we're going to see if we can get through a boss here, but I do not have high hopes. So really now what I'm going to try and maximize is anything that is going to be able to convert into a win for us against this boss. And right now we're lacking most of this damage. We've got Icicle Zapper and Magic Dart. We've got potentially Nail Flurry with Marked as a thing we can build up to. But something like Poison Tips, where it's like going to be damage that is going to add up over time. I think for the one battle that we need to get through now, because Agile and Penetrate are not going to do anything for us, and Loot Hoarder certainly isn't in terms of us winning one more battle. But Poison Tips might. Being able to sort of stack some poison up on the boss might be enough to get us over the hump. We'll see what happens. We're going to get this Chino. We're going to hope that this Garen. We're going to hope that he has anything useful. So he's got Burst that fires a magical blast. So once per battle, we'll do 10 damage. Honestly, pretty good. It's at least a little bit of damage that we can use on the boss or a summon to take it out. And then we've got shooting a unit in our line of sight. I think we might just have to give the mini moon to him. We're certainly have to give the mini moon to him. And then we might. There's no reason not to give him the Neverstone, I suppose. If we do make it through this battle, we're going to want to level up on something else, although we probably aren't going to go very much further. We'll see if we get a useful ability. Mech Suit Syringe. Immediately teaches Cat the active ability Mech Suit. Summons a mech suit that can be piloted, castable once per battle. I assume that this is going to be something that is probably quite expensive on mana. I'm kind of tempted to give it to Heisenburg and try to make him somewhat useful. We could also give it to Garen and see if we can make Garen, because Garen's not going to have anything to cast once he casts his burst once. I think we'll do that. We're going to give it to Garen. Yep, that's 15 mana. I'm not even sure if 6 Charisma is going to have a max mana of 15. We're going to hope that it does. It might be 14. But if it does, then we might be able to sort of inspire and rouse him up to have enough. Honestly, what I might do here is... Oh, but that's not Charisma. Do we have anything that buffs Charisma? Oh, this is interesting. What I think I actually might do is I'm going to move all 3 of these over to Garen. To have Garen be the sort of like bulky brace unit that inflicts bruise. And then Heisenburg will probably just be completely useless. We might give him the Lucky Hat just for the sake of him having a little bit more to do. But yeah, we don't have anything that boosts Charisma, unfortunately. And I still think we probably... Well, 8 mana per turn will be enough to do Icicle Zapper. So I don't think we actually need the glasses on Chino. We might actually want them on Bolito now. As much as I'm a little bit loath to give him less health, given that he has nothing defensive except for bricks, the ability to cast... To get up to and cast Marked and Nail Flurry, if we can get the 15 mana of 6 Charisma, which I'm not sure we can. But being able to get more mana to get up to Nail Flurry more consistently, I think is probably just going to be more important. And I think against a boss, there's probably not going to be a lot of corpses to destroy. I think the Mini Moon is probably going to be more important than the Spider Hat. We're going to also buy out this shop. I don't know what all these things do, but we're just going to buy them all because we can. And then with this rare candy, we're going to see if there's a passive ability that will help us on Chino. Casting elemental spells imbues our basic attack with those elements and relevant effects for the rest of the battle. That's really interesting. Because Icicle Zapper is then going to give our basic attack slow 2, a 25% chance to stun, and a 25% chance to freeze, which means we have a lot of stacking chances to stun over the course of the battle, which against a boss I think will really add up. So I think Elemental Stream is a strong choice here. Ending our turn with exactly 5 mana, we gain 5 defense and temporarily gain 5 kinetic spikes. This could be potentially useful if this was a unit that we wanted to put in harm's way more often. But I don't think we're going to be getting to a situation where that's the case. And then adding range, the only thing that cares about range is a Magitar. I think Elemental Attunement is a clear pick here. Cool, so now we're going to see what we can do with these items. At least one of them, this Cool Hat, does give more Charisma. So we might want to actually give that to Bolito here. And give him a little bit more of a chance to get into a situation where he can mark a Nail Flurry. Really what we want to be doing is, if we can do all three of these in a turn and do 40 damage to the boss, that is going to be pretty close to ending the battle, especially if we have done, you know, a basic attack on the previous turn. So getting more charisma and more intelligence to get there faster, I think, is just a move. And we'll give him a Cinder Block, give him a little bit more survivability, given that he's got lower HP now, that he doesn't have his other stuff. Headbrand, giving our movement action jump, and if we land on a unit, we deal damage to it and bounce to adjacent tile. I think we're going to give that to Heisenburg, actually. I think it's more... The 1 luck was just sort of like a random Mimi thing, but this will actually let him jump into... so next to the enemy, ideally, and get Depression onto him for a couple of turns before he dies off. It's more important than any of these other effects could be on him. And then we're going to see if there's anything that synergizes with health regen. I don't think anybody has... Oh, so he's got some health regen from the Cryogenic Time Chamber. So the Nurse Mask is actually kind of perfect here. It's going to buff his health up a little bit, keep him survivable, a little bit more survivable, and then hopefully the 3 healing per turn will both get him off of this lower HP he's on, now that we don't have a healer on the team, and keep him alive for the rest of this battle. Cool, so we're going to be facing this Stacy clone. So unfortunately, we're going to have to choose some options. I think we don't have any melee attackers except maybe our mech suit, so Thorns is definitely fine to give to the boss. As far as abilities go, trying to think here. Fire, we don't have anything on our cats that is flammable. I think generally speaking, trying to think. Ice might freeze us. And honestly, if he freezes our depressed cat next to himself, that might be useful. I think we're going to ice. Fire and lightning don't really strike. I don't want to get stunned. I don't really want to get burned. Health up, speed down, damage up, health down, or speed up, damage down. I think last time I picked speed up, damage down, and the boss was kind of zooming all over the map, which was really scary because there was really nowhere safe to go. I'm honestly thinking health up, speed down might be the move. I don't think we want to do damage up, health down either. We have no survivability on our team. Our healer is gone, and we don't really have any good ways of mitigating damage. I think we can maybe get through additional health. Again, we have our rogue sort of set up to be doing a whole bunch of damage now. So I think we're going to hope that we can chip away through health over enough time. And then I don't really know what any of these do. Mirror Shines, to me, sounds like the sort of thing that might reflect projectiles, which would be pretty horrendous. Double Head and Third Paw could be kind of anything. Third Paw sounds like maybe it does multiple attacks per round. Double Head maybe gets more abilities or more uses of his abilities. I think we're going to go with Third Paw and hope that it's nothing. Bleed and counterattacks, I think that's fine. Again, we're not going to be attacking at melee range. Basically at all. Alright, we'll see if I can survive this battle. I'm not particularly convinced that we will. How much movement range do we have? We got 2 movement range, we got Thorns, and we know it affects bleed and counterattacks. But it does, and it moves twice per round. So 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, only going to get to about here. So for this first round, 1, 2, 3, 4, we can't unfortunately safely go here. But I do think we could go potentially here and hit this trash bag if we wanted to. I'm not even sure that that's worth it, though. I think I may want to be a little bit more conservative and just stay a little further back. We don't have the mana to do burst yet, but we do have 18 max mana, so I think we actually just want to save up for a mech suit. So I think we're just going to face forward and end the turn with Garen. Again, stay as far back as we can. She doesn't move particularly far. Her Shards of Ice does damage around herself, which is great. And then here we're just going to save up for Icicle Zapper. So again, I think we're just going to stay back, wait a turn. We're going to put Heisenburg a little bit closer in order to hopefully inflict her with some depression. At this point, saving up coins I don't think is particularly helpful for us. We can potentially spawn something useful. She can't reach with the battery, so we're going to face away from the wall and turn here. Alright, so we have everything we want with Bolito. We can get behind, we can inflict marked, and we can go to town. So we'll do our basic attack first for a bunch of damage, and then we'll nail flurry for 40 damage. And then we're going to go ahead and use the bricks to stun it. And that will give us the maximum amount of ability. I think we still want to save up for this piloted mech suit. I'm not sure what it does exactly. But this isn't physical damage, so I think we just want to go here and do a short shot for another batch of damage. And we'll go ahead and... I probably should have gone in front of Bolito, maybe? I'm not sure if I want to expose Chino to damage, but I mean, getting Icicle Zapper for the rest of the battle, and somebody's going to be attacked here, right? Like, there is a small rock here, so I think it's probably most likely that she hits that towards Bolito. So I think I might risk it here and go ahead and Icicle Zapper. She's immune to ice, which now means she's going to be immune to my basic attack as well. So I've now made it so that my only chance of winning is Bolito, basically. Okay. Or I guess the mech on Garen. So I think now we just want to pour all of our mana into Garen because we know that Chino is just kind of a meat sponge. Let's go ahead and hone this battery and try and stun our friend here. Jump on her as well. Again, trying to just sort of entice her to attack Heisenburg. We'll inflict some all sets down on her. Build the Tesla coil here. I mean, why not, right? Maybe it'll do something after Heisenburg is dead. Although probably is going to just kill Heisenburg before anything happens. Nope, it did hit her, which is great. She's going to Ice Breath these guys, and then plan to Shards of Ice, but hopefully she is not going to take too many more turns before she is dead. Bolito, I think, is going to save up for one more turn to try and go ahead and kill her all at once. So I'm actually going to just, again, fully get him out of harm's way. He's going to easily be able to move back in and hit her next turn. I could have taken a free attack on her. That was not great. But let's go ahead and summon a mech suit that can be piloted, I guess, over here. So we've got a Dash Puncher with Knockback 3. We've got firing the machine guns, dashing forward and letting fires in our path, and ejecting ourselves. Alright. And presumably we have Trample. Well, this is not trampling through any of our allies, so I think we will go ahead and move here. And go ahead and shoot some machine guns. Perfect. Well, Dash Puncher with Knockback 3. We didn't hit her. Oh, because that was only one range. Probably should have stayed back and further out of range, but that was pretty cool. That was not something that I was expecting to be able to be done, so that was pretty great. So she's frozen, so she's not going to be taking a turn. I guess with Chino, all I probably want to do is go ahead and collect a point in the corner and cry. I think I can still give her some mana. Nope, I can't even give her mana. Another option is I could just confuse Chino. That might be the play. So just use the rubber bat here. Knock her over to the side. And I don't think this projectile... I mean, I could push it back. Maybe that's the move. And now it's energized. I'm not sure exactly what energized does, but hopefully it's positive. Oh, it would have gotten an extra turn. That's interesting. Alright. So yeah, so I think we're happy that Bolito was out of the way, although unfortunately we're now too far away to, because of where the mech suit is, to get into range. So maybe we'll try and loop around and attack from this side on a future turn. So we'll have to be a little bit closer than we were last time, but we'll stay there. Take our frozen lumps. And now we finally have the ability to hopefully take her out. So we'll go here. Our ally is frozen, which is going to keep us from killing them if Stacy dies early in this combo, and we'll just inflate her to death. We're lucky that that was the case, because otherwise we would have lost our mage there too. Or we could have, I guess, maybe tried to attack through the corpse of our inventor. Alright, so Chino's leveled up. We can grab a stat bonus on her. So I think at this point survivability... I was going to say survivability might be paramount, but it might be more the case that getting into range to use Magic Dart and Icicle Zapper, because Icicle Zapper and Magic Dart are going to combine if we are doing future battles, which we might have to. I'm sort of realizing that when we put this into the time chamber, it might just trigger and send us to somewhere, and we might need to do more battles anyway. If that's the case, then the plan is basically just do what we did in that battle with Bolito and Chino sort of combining to Icicle Zapper for big stuff, and our new cat Garen trying to get a mech suit as fast as possible. So to that end, I think what we probably want to do is try and figure out what we're going to be doing in terms of surviving battles in that world. So Garen is going to be pretty defensive, and the mech suit seemed like it had potentially additional armor on top of the brace and stuff that we have intrinsically. Chino is going to probably lose this cryogenic time chamber, so we'll only have one health regen per turn. So I think that survivability might be slightly more useful than speed, but it's pretty close. I think I'm actually going to try speed as getting into position to actually do attacks. I think might just be more important. We've also got this Gorgon as a petrify all units in a line of sight that makes them into rocks. We don't have any rock synergies right now. We have an eyeball to heal 8 HP. Could give that to Heisenburg, I guess, but he's going to be have, he has whatever 4 health in a battle. I don't think it's particularly helpful. We'll see what happens when we go into this time machine. Alright, we have fixed the time machine. So it is fixed. We could go to the past, or we could just ignore it. The fact that it's fixed means that we've actually completed our quest, and the other quest item we've already lost. So the cats that I brought on this are not particularly valuable to me right now. As you saw, my house was full of cats from other runs that I'm going to be using on other boss fights. So unless these cats get much, much better, I don't think there's anything that I'm bringing home right now that's all that valuable. No. So I think the information that I'll get by scouting out the past here is just going to be more helpful. We zoom in. Here we are, in the past. No. We're in the Ice Age. That is further into the past than I would have expected. Cool. So the spider hat, I don't think is... Yeah, so we did in fact lose the throbbing ice case that we had before, cooler. So we want to probably give Chino some sort of useful held item. Neverstone is going to stay on Garen, I think. Although we could actually, I think what we want to do is we want to take this Neverstone, and I think we want to put it on Heisenburg. Yeah. I'm not sure why he didn't get the level up last level and Chino did. It might have been because he got downed in the battle, which is interesting. I didn't know that downed allies would have not leveled up. But actually, I think that Garen, because of mech suit, might actually be useful enough that him leveling up would actually be helpful. And I think we're going to give the eyeball to him as well. I think it's fine to keep leaving Headbrand on Heisenburg. There's nobody else that I think really wants it. And everybody else has... the Spider Baby, I guess, is slightly less useful now, so we could consider giving Chino... this Mini Moon, for example, might be helpful with... all the additional projectiles. Although I guess we don't know. The asteroid, I don't know when it spawns the rock. And if it spawns the rock before the splash damage happens, the splash damage might actually hit the rock back at me. So I think I might actively not want this mini moon on Chino. So I think we're just going to go ahead and roll with what we've got for now. And we'll see what these enemies are doing. Oh, actually, interesting. Because we have Infested still, we do still have a combo. So I actually do think we'd still want the Spider Hat. So triple hit melee attack and a close range freeze attack. And then ranged attack afflicts slow and has a chance to inflict freeze. So I'm actually thinking that the Chino's ability might also be a detriment in this realm. I don't know if these guys are immune to ice, but given the fact that they're doing all this ice-based attacking, I strongly suspect that they probably are. So I am going to need to be pretty careful with when I use her ability and on what. So Yeti Cat has a range attack that inflicts slow and might freeze. So it's going to go 1-2 spaces. So if its range attack is 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, I don't think it's likely to have a range attack of range 4. So I think I'm probably safe to go over here. Oh, but the Ice Breath is a cone. So that's a little annoying. Boy howdy, we are really in the struggle bus here. I think we're just going to shoot this rock as far away from us as possible and wait a turn and give our mech friend a bunch of mana for his mech purposes. And then unfortunately we can only do splash damage on this guy, but it's better than nothing. See what we craft. Sharded glass is not particularly helpful, especially since we can't even throw it. We want to go somewhere where we're not adjacent to our allies. We can start using uses on this sharded glass, although I don't think he's likely to survive long enough for it to become particularly relevant. He's going to unfreeze, but then he's probably going to just refreeze here with this Ice Breath, unfortunately. Oh, yikes. This Yeti is trouble. He defrosted at least. I'm going to find a way to distract this guy, and I think Chino's going to have to... Well, I guess maybe Heisenburg could be the sacrificial lamb. So let's go ahead and start working on these cats, I guess. We're going to go ahead and blast this one, knock him back. I'm pretty sure that this is not going to work. And the thing is, if this doesn't work because of elemental attunement, it means that literally we're going to become useless for the rest of the battle. So I think I don't want to risk that. I think we're just going to end the turn there. And then we're going to hope that Heisenburg can get close enough to something. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to jump over here. We don't have enough mana to do both Rock Skates and Testicle, so I think what we're probably going to do is just go ahead and build a Tesla coil for now. I think we're going to Rocket Skates. I think sacrificing Heisenburg to... Well, but we want the Yeti to attack Heisenburg, ideally. So I think adding a Tesla coil as a second unit over here might entice him to attack this way, which might just be better than sacrificing himself, which means that he'll be dead, he'll be a corpse, and he won't be an attractive target for this Yeti. Alright, so fortunately... Oh, well, no, we're just defrosting. Man, we're just going to spend the whole battle frozen at this rate. And now Bolito's dead. Man, we are just in trouble. Our cool hat broke. He's got 48 health. Spawning the mech on top of him is going to knock Bolito out of the way. I think that's probably better. Yeah, because we just need to have free space to work with so that we're not attacking our friend. So let's go ahead and dash punch him first. Next, we will barrage him from behind, hopefully shoot him dead. If not, we will try and trample over him and get down to 1 at least. If he freezes us, though, I think we're just... Man, I just think we're, in general, we're just in trouble. They're able to just sort of freeze us every single turn. Gives us only a chance to freeze. But still. Alright, so we can move through this guy. We don't want to hit the corpse too much. We can dash forward and light fires in our path. I wonder how far would that go through everybody? Because that might be okay, because then we can get over here, kill this other ice cat. I think that's worth it. No, we actually can't dash punch him, but fires hopefully will be helpful. I think these guys are likely, well, they're not any more susceptible to burn, it doesn't seem like. So we're pinning all of our hopes on this mech, which I don't think is going to be sufficient. There's just enough ranged attackers, yeah, that we're just going to not be able to do anything as they kill us. Alright, well, we at least succeeded in one of our quests. So we didn't lose all of it. We did make progress on this run a little bit. But unfortunately, we just didn't make a lot of... we didn't get a lot of bonuses out of it, which is too bad. We get a spider hat, Gorgon's eye, some Fusion gold. I think probably the spider hat is the best out of these. Alright, so that's the run. It was a little bit shorter than normal today, but that's what I've got for you guys. Not sure if I'll put the VOD of this one up because it was pretty pathetic, but at least you got to see a fun enemy comboing our unit to death. Hopefully on one of these future videos I'll be able to showcase one of me actually doing some combos to combo some people to death, because I have had some runs where I do some shenanigans that are more like what the enemies were doing to us in this one. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching, and have a good one, you guys.